Hey, welcome to Higher Intervention, where we believe in the transformative power of our higher selves and the infinite force that guides us. I'm your host, Lucretia J. Ville, and this is a safe place for deep and meaningful conversations about self-discovery, personal growth, spiritual enlightenment, and emotional mastery. Whether you've had a tough day or you're simply seeking strategies and encouragement to pursue a life of purpose, you're in the right place. Together, we'll explore the depths of personal strength, unlock the potential within, and shine a light on the steps to lead us toward the life we aspire to live. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to another episode of Higher Intervention. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that touches each of us at different points in our lives. The feeling of not being enough or not having enough, or feeling both of those at the same time and feeling the weight of those. We're going to explore those feelings together because there was a time when I was homeless, and during this incredible tough period, I battled constant feelings of inadequacy, both financially and emotionally. And I felt like I didn't have enough and I wasn't enough. Everything that led up to my homelessness was intertwined with these feelings. And I was laid off from a job which was so absurd at the time. And it just sent me on a downward spiral emotionally because I truly didn't feel like I was enough just in the workplace. Think about when you lose your job like that, it just hits you, not just your wallet, but it just completely shakes your entire sense of self-worth. And then on top of that, at that time, I was drowning in debts with family and friends and struggling with expectations about paying them back. And I was just in a lot of financial turmoil. At the same time, I was in a toxic relationship with a lying and cheating guy, and it ended so badly that I really truly had to move out of his place and then lost that job 30 days later after I had moved out. So I found myself without a home, sleeping in the back of my car and waking up each morning to take my daughter to a library bathroom so we could just wash up and get ready for the day. I mean, can you imagine that? Feeling like you're not even enough for your child. Like that was my reality. I wasn't enough and I didn't have enough. And these were my experiences that I had as a parent, as a partner, as a professional. They were just totally crushing. And they were not just my experiences. So many of us go through life feeling like that. We go through life feeling like we aren't enough and that we don't have enough. And these feelings, they often push people to really check out because they're just feeling that weight and it's too heavy to bear. But I want to pose a question. What causes this pervasive sense of not enoughness? And what can we do about it? I personally have come to understand that these feelings are often stemmed from being out of alignment with the highest version of ourselves. That version that it truly is in sync with the infinite source of energy that makes up our existence. So in today's episode, we're going to explore 3 things that can guide us back into that alignment with our true selves and that higher source. And this isn't just about improving, because a lot of people think that to be the best version of yourself is all about improvement and personal growth and things like that. And it's kind of about that, but it's not, because your true version of yourself has nothing to do with the external factors of this world. It's truly about transforming your consciousness and your belief in who you are, your awareness of your self-worth and your self-sufficiency. Okay. So we're going to really dive into these 3 things and allow ourselves to bring ourselves back into alignment. So the first thing is we need to understand how to be aware of the fact that we are out of alignment. Awareness is like the foundation of life itself, of being aware, becoming aware of anything or everything. When you're born into this world, when a baby comes into this world, What is the first thought? What is the first action? What is the first feeling that they have? It's awareness, awareness of their own being, awareness of the surroundings, awareness that they're in a different environment. Crying, taking an action, awareness, being able to say, this is what's happening. That's the first step of bringing ourselves back into alignment. Because a lot of times when we are out of alignment and we're feeling like we're not enough and we're feeling like we don't have enough, we're not aware. We're not aware of what's available to us. We're not aware of what actions we've taken to get to these spaces. We are not aware of the things that we can do to go move forward. We're just there. We're just sitting in it. And that is where that heaviness can start to boil over. So first, coming into a space of awareness is going to guide you back into that alignment, that right path where that light can shine on you from infinite source and guide you in the world and orchestrate things around you so that you're not doing that work, becoming aware. And then let's think about that second thing, and that is authenticity. So authenticity is not the cliche word that, people use all the time. Authenticity is not about, oh, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be the best version of myself and people can kick rocks. Like, we're not here to boast about being so authentic. And I'm using my fingers to make quotation marks of being so authentic. Authenticity is how we perceive ourselves and our self-awareness, irregardless to anybody else. Irregardless to anybody else. We don't have to boast about it. We don't have to post about it. We don't have to say, yes, I'm going to show up and you better believe you better bet on me. I'm going to be me. Okay, we get that. We understand that you're going to be you. Okay, we don't need to know that. Do you know that, right? I think that we can identify when people aren't authentic is the moment that they're constantly talking about how authentic they are in the room. When you show up authentically, you're going to take up space. And sometimes that space is loud and sometimes that space is very quiet. You're not going to always be the boldest person in the room because you're so authentic. Or you're going to be the person that rubs people wrong because you're so authentic. Who cares about those things? Those are very superficial things that is based in ego. We don't really care about those things. What we care about is, do we understand our own self-sufficiency, and are we aware of our own ability to thrive and live prosperously and inspirationally in this world? Being self-aware in that way, it causes you to be more authentic to who you are. It causes you to take chances on your dreams and your ideals and things like that, right? And being authentic to yourself will allow other people to, feed off of that, to be authentic to themselves. So when you're doing that, when you're out of that and you're out of alignment because of it, you're going to feel like you're not enough. You're going to always be comparing yourself to somebody else. You're always going to suffer from imposter syndrome because you don't know if you have enough or if you've done enough or if you're good enough because you're not authentic to who you are, which is enough. I think that that's really important because we just get it wrong. And I pause a lot on this topic because I start to think about some of the social media posts and things that I see online about authenticity. And it's so wrapped up in this ideal that we have to purposely be something of ourselves in front of others. Being authentic is a private matter. It doesn't have to have anything to do with anybody else. Absolutely nothing to do with anybody else. Maybe we'll talk a little bit longer about authenticity on another episode, but that is the second step in bringing yourself back into in alignment with your highest version of yourself. That last thing that we want to do is we want to take action without expectation. Now that's huge because who wants to take action without expectation? Who wants to start a marathon without being able to get a reward at the end? Who wants to build a business without making six figures or up to $1 million? Like, who wants to take an action? Who wants to go on a date and not end up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or what, who wants to do that? We have expectations. But what I am proposing to you today is to actually do that, to take action without expectations. So if you do start a business, you can have a goal. You can have an ideal of where you want to go and what you want out of it. But understand that expectations are fluid, so that sometimes they line up with the way you idealize them and sometimes they don't. And if you are open to that and oh, well, I didn't hit that goal that I thought I was going to hit, or I didn't do that the way I thought I could do it, and you are open, then what happens is what truly is supposed to transpire, where the universe starts to orchestrate things for you, it happens organically. And next thing you know, you still get ultimately what you wanted. And when we bring that back into alignment, we can release the idea that we're not enough. If we don't have goals and expectations that says if we don't do this or do that, we failed, then who cares about not feeling like we're not enough, right? I'll use an example for this podcast. I could literally tell you 1,000,000 times I have felt those feelings of not enoughness. Maybe it is because I know that, I suffered a nervous breakdown years ago and had to recalibrate my brain with the way I speak and talk and verbalize things. And sometimes it comes out a little sketchy. And then I decide I want to start a podcast. So, it's like that not enoughness can just like rise to the top. But as soon as I come back into alignment, I understand that it's not about that expectation of being the best, of having the best voice, of having the most articulate words, or being so succinct that it's just mind blowing. Like those are expectations. But what the reality is I'm taking action because I know that I am inspiring. I know that I am in alignment to be an inspiration to somebody else. So you have to take action without expectation. It's going to help you where you're not going to feel underwhelmed by the people who respond to you, and you're not going to feel overwhelmed by not having the things that you want when you want them. Okay. And all three of those things lined up together is super powerful. It's super powerful in your life. And I know for me, once I was able to do that when I was, homeless and going through that low period in my life, I started believing in myself. I started, I did all three of those things. I was able to, bring myself to a point where I was aware that I needed to get into alignment. I needed to get into that space where God was working through me and the light was shining through me, and I was doing things on that level. Then I needed to bring myself to be more authentic to who I was, which is still a continuous journey. I'm still growing in authenticity in that manner of understanding that I am self-sufficient, that outside of me is all extra, right? That I'm self-sufficient within me because I'm in alignment with the higher source. Okay. And then that third piece of just taking action without expectation of me starting my business and me writing my books and knowing, hey, I'm not, a scholar, and I don't have a bachelor's or master's degree in writing, but I do have a story, and having that story, I took action on it, and I had no expectation other than to inspire and to help other people. And it changed my life and put me on the trajectory of where I am today. So I believe that all three of these things can be very crucial for you bringing yourself back into alignment and bringing yourself into a space that is going to allow you to alleviate yourself from feeling not enough and feeling like you don't have enough. because you do. You are enough. You do have enough, right? When you're in alignment, those ideals start to flow from a higher source because you are everything that you need. And I'm going to say that twice because a lot of people don't really understand that. It takes us years to really understand that we are everything that we need. We ourselves are self-sufficient and are enough. And we don't need outside influences to make us who we are. And that comes from being aligned. So my encouragement to you today is to stay into alignment. And when you move out of alignment, give yourself grace and just move back in with those three things. Become aware, become more authentic to yourself, become a person who takes action without expectation. And I promise you, you will feel so aligned and so in tune with the highest version of yourself that you're going to feel like you're more than enough and that you have more than enough. And that's where that overflowing starts to happen. That's where the overflowing of your passions and your gifts and your stories flow into the world, and you create amazing products or services for someone, or that understanding that you are more, have more than enough, and you start to open the floodgates in your life. That is the goal, is to feel like you are enough, to feel like you're more than enough, and to move forward with that and let the universe orchestrate itself around you and create all of the wonderful, beautiful life experiences that you dream of, that you want to have, without all of the stress and overwhelm of feeling like you're not enough. So take a deep breath and say, I am enough. Take a deep breath and say, I have enough. And continue to do that every single day, because you are. I hope this episode inspired you. Share it with someone you know who's grappling with feeling like they're not enough or that they don't have enough, and bring them into this awareness of enoughness and of feeling worthy to move forward in life with joy and peace and love. I'm so glad you took the time to go high. Visit higherintervention.com to go higher and get tools and resources for your journey, including a 14-day manifestation guide.